All right, so let's wrap up chapter 6 here, looking at 6.3 confidence intervals were population proportions. And so we're going to be able to find a point estimate for a population proportion, look at how we construct confidence intervals and interpret those, similar to what we've done in the past. And then the big new one is how do we determine the minimum sample size required. So an example here you see often in election years, you see confidence intervals. Well, they'll say 40% within 3 percentage points, right? That's our margin of error. We talked about that the candidate could have a voter of 37 to 43%, and they'll talk about usually 95% confident being true. And another one is USA Today had a snapshot that said that 12% of pleasure boats in the United States were named Serenity. So this parameter is 12%, it's called a proportion. It means that of all the pleasure boats in the United States, 12 out of every 100 are named Serenity. And this, going back to 4.2, probability of success in a single trial is the binomial experiment is P. The probability is a population proportion. So some quick reminders on a definition here. Proportion represents parts of a whole. It can also represent probabilities, and they can come from a sample or a population, and last can be expressed as a fraction, decimal, or percentage. Now most common it is seen as a decimal or a percentage, right? But we get a fraction that leads us to those two things, as you see up here in the example, right? There's a percentage, there's a decimal, and then there are the fractions that lead to that. Okay, so definition, a point of estimate for P is the population proportion of success given by the formula. We call this here P hat is X, which is the number of successes, and N, which is our sample size. And then we have our Q hat, which we've done before. It's just 1 minus our P hat. So let's look out as an example here. So in a survey of 1,550 US adults, 1,054 said that they use social media website Facebook. Find a point estimate for the population proportion of US adults who use Facebook. So identify our parts that we have here. So P, N, and X. So remember, P hat, based on our equation, is X over N. Our N is 1,550, and our X is 1,054. So substituting that in, that then gives us a P hat value of 0.68, and then that is our point estimate.